Corncob Piper coming at you. It is a Friday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend. I want to say once again to all the members of the YTPC that are military veterans, definitely a big thank you and shout out to your service and commitment to our great country. You know, what you've done definitely is not forgotten, and myself and many others personally, you know, are grateful for what you've done. And speaking of veterans, this is going to be a VR to one of our YTPC members that is also a veteran, Mr. Bryce Parker. I believe he is a Army veteran. Bryce, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And also his uncle, Babyface Huey, is also a veteran. So just wanted to say to you personally, Bryce, you know, thanks for your contribution and commitment to the service of this country. Definitely very much appreciated. So Bryce is doing his 500 sub giveaway, and I got started in the YTPC making videos sometime in February of this year. It was maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks before International Pipe Smoking Day, which I believe was towards the end of February. I think I might have started maybe a week before. There was a couple of other guys that got started right around the same time as me, and Bryce being one of them, and the other one was the Bean Piper. So I kind of feel a little bit of a kindred, you know, bond with these guys just because we all got started around the same time. Bryce is up to 500 subs, which is awesome, man. Congratulations. I definitely really love your channel. He does a lot of, you know, like his thing is doing like newbie videos, like newbie to pipe smoking and stuff like that. Although he is not really, I wouldn't consider him a newbie anymore. I just watched a great video that he did where he was smoking a cigar, which he thought, I guess, was long filler. It turned out to be short. And just, you know, pointed out that you don't always have to be the best, have the best of something to enjoy it. I am a complete novice when it comes to cigar smoking. I don't really know much about cigars, taste profiles, things like that. I either smoke a cigar and I like it, or I smoke a cigar and it's okay, or I smoke a cigar and I don't like it. Turns out that most of the cigars that I really enjoy, however, are the pricey ones, which I wish kind of were the other way around. But you know, I do enjoy some cheap cigars. I mean, I believe it or not, enjoy smoking from time to time Zigzag Natural Cigarellos, which is it's probably like 4 clippings or something that's in there, but I think it's, you know, a nice, easy, short, quick smoke, and I enjoy them. I think I actually sent you some, Bryce, when you won my my 100 sub giveaway. But my favorite cigar that I've smoked to date is a Alec Bradley Tempest, which is like a $9 stick. Wish they were a bit cheaper, but lucky for me, I only smoke cigars during the winter. It's really starting to cool down here in Southwest Florida. When I say it's cooling down, I mean that it's not, you know, 100 degrees every day. It is now down to somewhere in the 80s during the day. In the morning when I go to work very early, it's high 60s, early 70s, which to me is good cigar smoking weather. As we get closer towards the first of the year, the temperature will start dropping, where we'll get highs in the mid 70s, and can't really wait to that. But let me get to the point here, because I'm kind of rambling, and this is supposed to be a VR. So I'm sure everybody watching this already knows who Bryce Parker is. If you don't, however, I will post a link down to his channel down below. Make sure you head on over to his channel, hit the sub button, check out his videos, hit those like buttons for him. You have till, it's Friday the 10th, you have till, I believe, midnight tonight to do a VR if you want to get in. He's giving away a very, very cool pipe, a C-pipe. And I think it's very cool that he's doing his giveaway on Veterans Day as well. So his question that he proposed was, give a rare or strange or weird fact about tobacco. And I got to give it to you, Bryce. This is probably the hardest VR question that I've ever come across since I've been a member of the YTPC. I've kind of gotten away lately from doing VRs. I'm trying to get back into them, but winter is a very, very busy time of the year for me with work and gardening, and trying to do these videos and adding VRs in is very, very hard, but I'm going to try to make a conscious effort to start doing more of them for you guys, because I'm all about promoting and contributing to everybody's channel on the YTPC, because I just love being part of this community. So after racking my brain for several days now, I finally come up with something, and I don't even know if it's a good something, but this is what I'm going with. So I know Bryce, you're in your late 20s, I believe. I'm almost 40, and which makes me a product of the 80s, you more so a product of the 90s. But when I was growing up in the 80s, everybody smoked. There was not all these rules and regulations where it came to smoking. They really came in more towards the 90s, really pushing hard once Bill Clinton became president. But when I grew up, we would go into a restaurant, and there was not you can't even smoke in restaurants now, but I know in like the 90s there was a smoking section and a non-smoking section. When I went to restaurants as a kid, you sat down and you could either smoke at your table or you could not smoke at your table. So even if you were a non-smoker, which adult-wise there was, I would say at least probably 50 to 60% of adults in the country at that time smoked cigarettes. At the time, the big lawsuits with the tobacco companies were still going on. They were denying that there was any health problems from smoking cigarettes. They had doctors backing up that information. And even before that, in the 60s and 70s, there was actually doctors that would do commercials promoting different brands of cigarettes, that they told you to smoke that were better for you and would promote good health. And then if you go back, 50s and 60s and watch like football games, you'll see NFL players on the sideline chain smoking cigarettes. If they're on defense and the offense is in, they're sitting there on the sideline just puffing away. And I think that's a very, very weird fact to think about now in 2017, to think back to when I was a kid in the early 80s, that you could smoke everywhere. And it seems like just about every adult that I knew smoked cigarettes. I remember flying on a plane to, I don't even know where we were going to visit when I was a kid, and people on the airplane smoking in the seat next to me. You could smoke in the airports. You could smoke in the lobbies of doctors' offices, in businesses, bars, just pretty much anywhere that you would think. Just be shocked nowadays to walk in. Just imagine walking in, you got a dentist appointment tomorrow morning, and you walk in and there's 3 people sitting there in the lobby waiting to go in, puffing on cigarettes. It just nowadays is shocking. But back then, it was a norm. And I don't know if you're old enough, Bryce, to remember any of this, but that might be a fact for you that you're not aware of just because of your age. That back in the, starting probably in the 40s after World War II ended, all the way pretty much right up until I would say about 1988, maybe when the first Bush became president, things started tightening up then. All those lawsuits were starting to go through and everything. But I even remember my dad, who smoked Marlboro Reds, and that was the first cigarette I ever smoked too, because I stole it out of his pack. I remember him setting up, we had across the street from my house, 1 block over and across the street, a 7-Eleven, and I remember him writing me a note, giving me, a $5 or $10 bill, and cigarettes were cheap back then. You could get a pack for, 60, 70 cents. Now I think they're like $6 or $7, so 100% increase between then and now. There weren't all the taxes. But sending with me a note, please allow my son Corey to, bring me home a carton of Marlboro Reds. He'd give me that $5 or $10 bill. I don't remember how much the carton cost then, but he'd give me that 10. We'll call it 10, and I'd get the carton. And I always loved going up to get him cigarettes because I always got to keep change, and I was able to get candy bars, and they had video games in a 7-Eleven I used to play. So just about how things are so different now compared to the way they used to be. And I'm sure it was much, much more even lenient if you go back farther in time from then. But I was born in 78, so I don't know what it was like in the 50s and 60s and 70s to smoke. I know in the 50s and 60s, like 80% of the adult population in the United States smoked cigarettes. It was some crazy number like that. Obviously, that number lowered and lower each year as people started realizing the health risks. But if you could travel back in time to say 1985 and just go to different places and check it out, even like the malls and stuff. You could smoke in the malls just to go around and see how many people were actually smoking and the places they were smoking in. I think might be a little fun fact. You probably know this, I'm not sure, but like I said, this was a tough question, man, and this is the best that I could come up with. So once again, guys, I'm going to post a link down to Bryce's channel. Bryce, congratulations, brother, on the 500 subs. That is awesome. I think I'm getting right up there with you, so I'll probably have to put together a 500 sub giveaway here soon. Maybe towards once we get towards Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'll do one. I'm not really sure how many subs I have right now, but I think it's somewhere in that general area. And like I said, guys, if you're watching this and you haven't checked out Bryce's channel, make sure to head on over there and hit that sub button for him as well. As always, YouTube, keep on piping.